Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
St. Vincent de Paul at 76th and Bradley Road is having our grand opening celebration this Father's Day weekend, June 13th through the 15th. Doors open at 9 a.m. and everything's on sale, 20% off. There'll be some great food trucks, cool giveaways, and it's a great chance for thrifters to see a whole new store's worth of inventory and bargains. 76th and Bradley in Milwaukee. Don't miss our grand opening sale, June 13th through the 15th.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Get help for your house this Saturday from Eric Brown. The president of Siding Unlimited knows his stuff. Yes, their name is Siding, but they do so much more. Windows by Pella and others, roofing, decks. That's why they are Siding Unlimited. Eric can advise you with anything about your home's exterior. Make a point to listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix It Show. And remember why they are called Siding Unlimited. They are siding and much, much more. See sidingunlimited.com and you'll see.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One's Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers swept the White Sox following a 6-3 win in the finale from American Family Field. Milwaukee still first in the NL Central, 36-23, and visits the Phillies tonight. Packers back on the practice field, wrapping up voluntary organized team activities with a final 3-day session today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Green Bay will finish with 9 OTA practices this offseason before mandatory minicamps kick off next Tuesday. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. I-43 north at Keefe, Atkinson Avenue. Left shoulder was blocked due to a crash that has been cleared. Maybe a little residual slowing there. Also some slowing in the construction zones. I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown and I-894 westbound Mitchell Interchange to the Hale Interchange.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Tayback Law fights for those who fought for us. If you're a vet and have been wrongfully denied the VA benefits you're entitled to, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Scattered afternoon storms possible. Shouldn't be too severe. High today 77. Storms early tonight. Humid with a low of 63. Dry most of tomorrow. Then storms popping up in the evening with a high of 80. Showers early Wednesday. High 78. Mostly sunny, cooler, breezy Thursday 73 and partly cloudy 72 on Friday. Madison 69. Green Bay 69 and Milwaukee 69 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:08.
Broadcasting live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Mobile Studio for the WTMJ Classic at the Majestic Oaks Golf Course at Lake Lawn Resort. It's time to talk about the red and blue. On the green, it's the Political Power Hour. Here's Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning. Welcome to WTMJ Golf Classic, Majestic Oaks, Delavan, Wisconsin. It's a gorgeous day. A lot of people were worried about some rain, but right now, sun is shining. Golfers are out on the practice green right in front of our mobile studios here out in Delavan. We're going to get right to it. Politics, of course, is always the focus of this program, and typically on Monday, we talk to one of two gentlemen, and today is no exception. Matt Smith joins us from Channel 12, political director, also host of one of the best Wisconsin political programs in the state. Up front, Matt Smith, how are you this morning?
I am well. Happy Monday. Hey, you got a great gig this morning.
I do, and no complaints here. Now, Matt, last Thursday, I was actually in my backyard in the afternoon, and I wasn't paying attention to the media, but I'm pretty sure you probably were. And later in the afternoon, we all got this notice that a verdict was reached. As a political director for one of the big stations in Milwaukee, what was your reaction, and frankly, what was your day like the rest of Thursday?
Well, listen, it was kind of a wait-and-see moment, right? This was some 24 hours in, and it was interesting if people remember as it kind of played out. It seemed at the moment like the jury was going to go home for the day. They were going to come back Friday, and then all of a sudden it started crossing over Twitter and the wires that, hey, a verdict is in. And then it kind of goes into reaction mode and seeing what you can get and who you can talk to. Obviously, the networks take over in a moment like that. But yeah, one of those moments where I think a lot of people were either on their phones or on their TVs just to see what was going to happen, no matter what you believe or what side you're on this.
And we're going to talk a little bit about reaction, because I know you've talked to some of the leading Republicans in the state of Wisconsin. Actually, let's play it. Producer Charlie back there in our studios, GKB studios. Let's hear from Governor Scott Walker, former Governor Scott Walker, on what the impact of this latest development in the Trump saga, the Trump trials, might do to the RNC and beyond.
What impact is this going to have on the convention in Milwaukee?
Well, I think it just potentially causes tremendous chaos, which is unfortunate, not just for Republicans, but in general for the convention. We hope will put a lot of great attention on Milwaukee and southeastern Wisconsin. But I think it's just absolute chaos could emerge out of this. I don't think we should write off the fact that this judge, as radical as he might be, might actually try to put him behind bars. And again, that just... I just pray for America, not just for Milwaukee and the convention, but I think it would be a tremendous disservice to the American people.
Interesting comments, Matt, on your program. The former governor expressing the same concerns. A lot of Republicans, a lot of Americans are saying when you have a convention that is literally 1 week after the sentencing of the President of the United States, former president, on these charges, what might that mean? He used the term chaos. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what, at this point, the RNC is preparing for. You have a number of different scenarios how this could play out. Trump will be sentenced 4 days before the start of the convention on that Monday here in Milwaukee. Typically, he would receive the nomination and speak on that Thursday. So the question is, what would that sentence be? A lot of legal experts don't anticipate, actual jail time with this, but there has been talk about, is this probation? Is this home arrest? Is travel restricted, which could prohibit President Trump from coming to Milwaukee to accept the nomination? I think ask 100 lawyers and you'll get different opinions on on what they think is going to happen. But just on the ground in Milwaukee, you know what? This could be it's going to be fascinating no matter what happens, incredibly interesting, and probably unlike anything we've ever seen before in a convention, no matter what the sentence is.
Hey, one of the things that kind of got out over the weekend was a possible Scott Walker as VP idea. What do you think?
Listen, so we asked him because we framed it in the way that, listen, Trump's vice presidential pick, which could be announced in Milwaukee, could have increased influence based on what voters and Republican voters and independent voters think of Trump himself after this. So we asked him, who do you think? He wants Kim Reynolds, the governor of Iowa, but he mentioned others like Doug Burgum, North Dakota governor, several others, Tim Scott, senator from South Carolina. And then we just threw out the question, hey, if you were asked, would you serve as vice president? And he said, yeah, listen, I would put the country first if Trump asked that. Go back several years, Steve, you obviously remember that Walker dropped out in September of 2015 and urged other Republicans to do so Trump wouldn't be the nominee. So a lot of Republicans kind of come in full circle as we now look ahead to 2024.
Matt Smith, our guest, he joins me every other week at WTMJ. He's the political director at Channel 12 in Milwaukee. We'll take a break here. Lots more to get to, including some commentary from some of the other Republican leaders in the state of Wisconsin. We are broadcasting live from the Majestic Oaks Golf Course at Lake Lawn Resort, Delvin, Wisconsin. Quick break here. We will be back with Matt Smith and hear from Congressman Brian Stile after this.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, it's WTMJ. Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. Your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew or broken tiles. Don't put up with that. You got to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a best best-in-class, world-class customer experience. Every unit custom built. You pick the premium accents, accessories, including safety features like low-profile showers, grab bars, shower seats. Just went through this with my friends at the Bath Authority. They will answer all your questions. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Call today, 414-249-6934. And get $1,500 off a new shower or bath. Plus, if you needed 36 months of interest-free financing, restrictions apply. You're their priority at the Bath Authority. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason featuring this week's guests, Comfort Awnings and Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
For the ultimate sports betting experience, get in the game at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Unleash your inner champion with dozens of betting kiosks, a VIP deck, high-end bar, first-class restaurant, broadcast booth, a 2,000-square-foot video wall, and more. It's a sports fan's paradise, 24/7. Bet above the rest. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Visit the website for more. Must be 21 years old. All bets must be made on site.
We are broadcasting live from the Majestic Oaks Golf Course. Beautiful Lake Lawn Resort. I haven't been out here for a while, but it is spectacular. Weather's nice, sun shining. Golfers are practicing their putting right in front of us. So if you have a chance and you're in the area, stop by, say hi. All of our team is out here. All the shows will be broadcasting live from Lake Lawn Resort, Majestic Oaks Golf Course today. We are joined on the phone by Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12, host of Upfront. Great program that sort of encapsulates all of the political stories that all of us are talking about every week on Channel 12. Matt, you also talked to Congressman Brian Stile on, and probably a lot more of our elected representatives in the state of Wisconsin. Yeah. I'm going to play a little bit of audio from Congressman Stile, and then we're going to talk.
Okay. I said from the beginning that even the charges were a partisan exercise by a Democratic district attorney. Disappointing, to say the least. That said, I think at the end of the day, this conviction will be overturned by the appeals court in the appeals process.
Do you have any hesitations now with the Republican nominee, your Republican nominee being a convicted felon?
I'm concerned about what would happen if we had 4 more years under President Biden. We'd have a continuation of the broken border policies, we'd have continuation of inflation. I think this election's a clear contrast between 2 sets of policies. And President Trump is the individual that we need to make president at the end of the day.
Congressman Brian Stile saying things that a lot of elected Republicans are saying, a lot of talking points there, but you talked to him directly, Matt. Your thoughts on some of the comments he made there, a lot of hope that this verdict, these verdicts, 34 counts, felony counts for Donald Trump in New York, are overturned in an appeals court. That seems to be what everyone, at least in the Republican circles, are saying.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think what we've seen develop, at least over the weekend and in the last couple of days, is sort of a litmus test, right? What side, among Republicans, what side are you going to be on? You saw Larry Hogan, the former Republican governor, Senate candidate, come out and say we should respect the jury's decision, we should respect the judicial process, and that got a ton of backlash. Laura Trump with the RNC came out yesterday and said, listen, we don't agree with that at all. So what you're seeing, the comments like Congressman Stile, other Republicans, it appears, at least at this moment, is, all right, are you a Trump Republican or are you somewhere else? And if you're somewhere else with Trump as the nominee, that may mean no more resources, no more attention from the RNC. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out over the next couple of weeks into the summer and the fall, and if people are still talking about this post-conviction.
You know, Matt, you and I both pay a lot of attention to the national polling, state polling. We certainly have MU Law School poll. I call it the gold standard for Wisconsin. Charles Franklin does a great job. I think we're starting to see some of the early numbers post-verdict, and they suggest there may be a slight softening for the former President Donald Trump in his support among Republicans. And that's certainly, that piece of this puzzle is the one that we don't know the answer to yet.
Absolutely. And we don't know how long that will stay, right? There's an eternity between now and November, and God only knows what's going to happen, right, politically between now and this fall. And, yeah, there was a ton of new polling that especially came out yesterday with the national Sunday shows on whether people think this was the right verdict or not. I mean, as you could guess, it was pretty split, 50% in ABC's poll. But yet there is a good majority who think the charges were politically motivated. So you have a ton of factors here. And I think the sentencing is going to be really telling in terms of if this moves the needle or not in what people are thinking, especially like those swing voters here in Wisconsin, right? If they're still kind of on the edge, what is all of this going to do? Is it just noise? Does it even matter? That's obviously still to be determined.
Outside of the certainly the conversation about former President Donald Trump, Congressman Brian Stiles got a race to run as well, and he is certainly facing some challenges.
He is. And the DCCC just came out, National Democrats, last week and said, hey, we're going to put a lot of money into this race backing Peter Barker, the Democrat, former state rep, long time. He actually served in the House back in the mid-'90s. That was the last time that seat was in Democratic control. He's aware of it. He acknowledges it, but he's brushing it off a little bit, saying, listen, they've spent a ton of money on me before. He won in 2022 by almost 10 points. But Democrats are seeing this as a really serious challenge, and national Democrats are going to invest a ton of money and resources to try to flip this seat. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the summer.
Matt, we're going to let you go in a little bit here, and I appreciate you joining us in our remote here from the Majestic Oaks Golf Course in Lake Lawn Resort. It's a fantastic day. So as I said before, if you're out in the area, stop by. It's right off 43, easy to get to. I always ask you, what are you looking forward to talking about from a political perspective in the week ahead? What's on your radar?
There's a ton, right? Every week in Wisconsin is like drinking out of a fire hose. I think we need to watch what happens with MPS this week, because that has statewide consequences in terms of all of this state funding and the mismanagement and all of that stuff. That could start to ripple and have some serious effects. We also have the state Democratic convention this upcoming weekend, just like we had the Republicans a few weeks ago. And Donald Trump Jr. is going to be in the Green Bay area tomorrow campaigning for Tony Weed in the 8th Congressional. So a lot of people in Wisconsin, like always.
Matt Smith, Political Director, Channel 12. Always enjoy the conversation. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Stay busy, my friend.
You as well. Enjoy the day.
Absolutely. We are live, WTMJ Golf Classic at the Majestic Oaks Golf Course. Haven't been out here in a couple of years. Lake Lawn Resort looks fantastic. The course is in perfect condition. Golfers are directly in front of me. They're practicing their putting as I speak. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but they'll work it out. They've got 18 holes to figure it out. It is a awesome day. If you can join us, as I said, stop by. We'll walk it up to the news in a second here, but after the break for news with Connie Weber locally and the latest from ABC, Bill Glauber, longtime Journal-Sentinel reporter, now retired. Doesn't mean he's still not interested in the news. Interesting comments from Colin Cowherd. We're going to play those after the news break. And Matt teed it up for us perfectly. The MPS saga continues with a big meeting happening this week. We'll continue our political conversation, Political Power Hour, live from the WTMJ Golf Classic after this.
Live life to the fullest at the Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. This free, fun, and uplifting day for older adults 55 plus includes speakers, exhibitors, and much more. John McGivern is the keynote speaker, and there will be pickleball, a self-defense class, breakfast, and raffles. The Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium, June 11th from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Brookfield Conference Center. Presented by Capri Communities, Southeast Wisconsin's top choice for senior living. Register early at enjoylifesymposium.com.
WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. Spring is here and it is only going to get hotter. We know that, right? Do not cool off the outside of your house this year. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Super spacer technology. What does that mean? It keeps the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and makes the windows, get this, last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. So your windows from Universal Windows Direct perform better and last longer. Plus, Universal Windows Direct backs it up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own the home. Plus, 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. Plus, if you need it, 0% financing for the next 36 months. Updating your windows with Universal Windows Direct means extra protection from the elements, a consistent temperature in your home, increased energy efficiency, and reduced heating and cooling costs. Plus, it's a big plus, a quieter, more comfortable home. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 36 months. That is 3 years, folks. Restrictions apply. Tell them I told you to call and get an additional $250 off your project. Do what I did. Go to UWD.com. UWD.com, like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Youngleth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Just because you're going to meet with a surgeon doesn't mean surgery is your only option. Dr. Mike Nolte.
Patients get diagnosed with a spine issue. Their doctor tells them, you have degenerative disc disease, you have a disc herniation. Your mind immediately jumps to, gee, do I need surgery?
Yeah.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery.
Find out the options you have by visiting orthowisconsin.com.
I get to do a lot of fun things as a broadcaster for WTMJ, and one of those fun things is a remote from a golf course. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday Political Power Hour. I'm Steve Scaffidi, your host. We are at the WTMJ Golf Classic. We've done this for quite a few years, and we are live today from the Majestic Oaks Golf Course at Lake Lawn Resort, which I used to stay every year in my previous private sector life. This is a great resort, beautiful facilities. It's been updated. The course is fantastic. Located in Delvin, Wisconsin. After the news break with Connie and the latest from ABC, we're going to talk to Bill Glauber. Outstanding, long time. I think 45 years as a journalist. He's now retired, but Bill's still on top of it. And we're going to talk about a couple things. One is I want him to listen, because we're going to play for him and you the comments of a sports commentator. I typically am not a fan, but I thought he was on point on his comments about former President Donald Trump. Colin Cowherd will play his comments coming up after the news break. And, of course, the big Milwaukee story, MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools, Keith Posley, their superintendent, all the things that are happening, swirling around that story, lack of financial accountability, missing records, what will happen next in that saga. And according to reporters and sources, including at WTMJ, big meeting tonight to determine what action will be taken against the superintendent, what that means, where that story goes. We'll find out together. One of the interesting things about being at the WTMJ Golf Classic is you get to see all the partners at WTMJ. This is that sort of that annual get-together. So we've got, I just saw Rose Gray from Fox World Travel, and I'm going to have a meeting with her this week on an upcoming potential trip. I see my friends at Loyal Family Renovations. We got them out on the golf course today. And if you ever need someone to look at damage to your home, and I just went through this process with those folks myself, they are the best. They will walk through all of the issues you have. They'll talk you through this stuff. They'll show you with pictures. If you're talking about a roof, you don't want to climb on your own roof, they will go on there, show you, document what you have to deal with, what you should report. They'll work with your insurance company. So that's a great resource. All of our great partners are out here today, having fun at the golf course, hitting the ball, hitting them straight. We are in the tail. I used to call it the tailgater. It's just our remote facility now. But we're looking over I think it's the 18th green. We got the putting area here. There's probably about a dozen or so golfers getting ready for their 10 o'clock tee time. As I said, we are hoping that this weather remains for the rest of the day. It's sort of mixed clouds, light clouds, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous day. And if you're in the area, Delavan, Lake Geneva, coming through on your way to Milwaukee and I-43, easy to find. It's right off the freeway. And you cannot miss this gorgeous Wisconsin day. Start after the break with Connie Weber. After the latest from ABC News, We're going to talk to Bill Glauber, longtime Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporter, and he'll give us the latest on MPS from a retired reporter's perspective. Always look forward to talking to Bill Glauber. He's a gem and a character. And the crazy thing about Bill Glauber, one of the things he's doing, not crazy, I guess, because we're on a golf course, he loves to golf. So we'll talk to Bill about that as well. All that coming up. But before we get to that, the latest from Connie Weber, local news, including MPS, and the latest from ABC. You're listening to Political Power Hour on WTMJ.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Jury selection beginning in Hunter Biden's illegal firearm trial. The president's son facing 3 federal charges for allegedly lying on an application for a gun by saying he was not a drug user when he was. ABC's Terry Moran has more.
The trial is expected to be deeply personal and potentially embarrassing for the First family. Prosecutors are relying on photos and text messages from Hunter Biden, including one allegedly sent just 2 days after purchasing the gun. I was sleeping on a car smoking crack on 4th Street and Rodney.
Mexico electing its first woman president and its first Jewish president. Claudia Sheinbaum is the former mayor of Mexico City, and she got her electrical engineering degree from UC Berkeley. Boeing is hoping to launch its new space capsule later this week. The Starliner launch was halted over the weekend because of a computer glitch. The craft taking 2 astronauts and a much-needed toilet pump to the International Space Station. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:31, deadly crash early Sunday morning near 57th and Congress. Milwaukee police say a 35-year-old driver traveling westbound on Congress slammed into a traffic light pole just past Fond du Lac Avenue. That driver died at the hospital. Not clear if speed or impairment caused that crash. Warden at the troubled Waupun Correctional Institution will step down later this month amid lockdown conditions, an ongoing federal investigation, and multiple inmate deaths. State Department of Corrections says Randall Hepp has announced his retirement, though the Wisconsin State Journal reports Hepp sent an email to prison staff Tuesday announcing his resignation. 4 inmates have died at Waupun since June of 2023. MPS School Board holds a special meeting this evening. There's speculation Superintendent Keith Posley could be fired. This comes in the wake of a public outcry following the release of a Department of Public Instruction letter threatening to withhold funding from MPS due to missing financial reports. Meeting will be the first time the community's gotten to officially address the board since learning about the financial trouble. Time for some news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. Still a mixed picture on Wall Street with the Dow down 46 points, 38,639. The Nasdaq is up 111 at 16,846. S&P 500 is up 11 at 5,288. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I-41 US 45 south, the ramp from Hampton Avenue. There was some debris in the lanes. Those should be cleared up now, but there might be a little bit of slowing in that area. No other major delays or problems to report this hour. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Look for some scattered afternoon storms, nothing too severe. High today 77. Those storms should taper off earlier tonight. Humid with an overnight low of 63. Evening storms tomorrow after a pretty dry day, a high Tuesday of 80. Showers early Wednesday, then partly cloudy and 78. Sunny, cooler, breezy Thursday, high of 73, and partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 72. Madison 69, Green Bay 69, Milwaukee 69 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:33.
John Mercure here with Ann Peplinski, who tells me Sidex Window Siding and Baths turned her nightmare bathroom into a gem.
It looks beautiful. My bathroom was the ugliest bathroom ever. They did a very good job in 2 days, and I still can't believe it.
Sidex, out with the old, in with the new.
It is such a good feeling.
Get in touch with my guys at Sidex, S-I-D-E-X, Sidex, SidexRemodel.com. It's Sidex.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Hey, John Mercure here. I love Otto's Wine and Spirits. It makes me smile. Served in Milwaukee since 1945. It's where I buy my wine. It's where I buy my beer. It's where I buy my spirits. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits, employee-owned, friendly staff, 7 locations. They know what they're doing. They've got the best prices at Otto's. They've got the best selection. Open 7 days a week with several locations. Milwaukee, Menominee Falls, which is where I go. Elm Grove, Brown Deer, Cedarburg. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits. They are the real deal. Buy it at Otto's.
You know this already. Inflation is sticky. You see it on the news. You feel it at the grocery store. It's the involuntary pay cut no one wants and that we can't seem to shake. Annex Wealth Management wants to help. Now is the time to download 7 strategies you can use in an environment with elevated inflation. Learn how real assets can help, which tax-efficient strategies to consider, and one way to increase Social Security benefits. It's a free download and available now. Go to annexwealth.com/inflation.
We are broadcasting live, we being the Political Power Hour, Steve Scaffidi, WTMJ Golf Classic, Majestic Oaks, Lake Lawn Resort. I haven't been here in a while, but I used to come here at least twice a year for many, many years when I worked in the private sector. Delavan, Wisconsin, right off I-43. All of our partners are here, our great partners. I just saw Rose Gray from Fox World Travel, my guys, Loyal Family Renovations, and this guy, who I know loves golf. We probably should have invited him out. Bill Glauber, longtime Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporter, now living the awesome retired life. Good morning, Bill Glauber.
Good morning. I was out at Ironwood, played a quick 9 this morning. You know, it's windy out there, so be careful out there.
That does not surprise me that you've already got 9 holes in. How much do you golf during the week?
I golf 4 to 5 days during the week. I'm an early bird, so I'm out with the old guys early.
All right. You're not an old guy. I think you're younger than me, and you're already retired. So how about that? All right, Bill, I want to play for you. I don't know if you saw these comments. Colin Cowherd, who I typically don't spend much time with, I thought he had some really cogent comments on former President Donald Trump. We're going to play it for you. Then I want to get your reaction.
Well, Donald Trump is now a felon. His campaign chairman was a felon. So is his deputy campaign manager, his personal lawyer, his chief strategist, his national security advisor, his trade advisor, his foreign policy advisor, his campaign fixer, and his company CFO. They're all felons, judged by the company you keep. It's a cabal of convicts.
Bill Glauber, I'm a big fan of just laying it out there. I couldn't find one thing in the comments of Colin Cowherd that wasn't true. We have a former president who essentially has surrounded himself with felons and is now himself, obviously pending appeal after 34 felony counts verdict on Thursday, a felon as well. Your thoughts as a longtime guy who covers politics, Bill Glauber?
Well, you know, I want to step back a second and talk about as a former sports reporter, which is how I started out. And, you know, this was a very sportsy view of what's going on, and a cabal of convicts. That's quite an alliteration that he perfected. No, I mean, you know, he's on to something, and you know, heading into the presidential election, would you rather be the guy who is a convicted felon going into the race? I think that's probably where you'd want to be. Republicans are doing the best they can to try to bolster Trump, but, you know, the fact is he is a convicted felon, regardless of what they say, and that's going to be a prime motivator in this presidential, you know, as far as go Democratic and Republican.
Bill, a couple of the benchmarks, of course, we have the sentencing that's going to happen July 11th, I believe, and then, of course, the week later is the RNC. I asked Matt Smith from Channel 12 this question before, and I'll ask you as well. This certainly interjects some crazy into what has already been sort of a, you know, nutsy run-up to the election in November. This just adds another element because no one at this moment knows what the judge is going to do in that New York case now that the verdict has been returned.
Well, nobody knows what the judge is going to do, and Trump keeps castigating the judge. He's shown no remorse. So, you know, the judge would obviously take that into account during sentencing. I think people would be surprised if he is sentenced to a prison sentence that isn't suspended, but you never know. And, you know, Trump on Friday, that press wasn't a press conference. It was more like a mini speech. To be blunt, was unhinged. And so you just don't know what these next few weeks are going to bring. And then, as you say, the crazies coming to Milwaukee for the convention.
I didn't bring this up with Matt, but I wonder now if this impacts his decision. I think he's probably leaning to still participate, but the first debate with the current president, Joe Biden, what element this inserts into that conversation hosted by CNN?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I've been thinking about that first debate, and all Trump has to do in that debate is stick to talking points and not appear unhinged. And he will probably win that debate. But can you believe that that's going to occur? He's been his own worst enemy in some of these things that he's been saying. And can he control himself during a debate? I don't know. I fully expect that debate at least to come off.
Just as part of our conversation, I want to ask you this, because you're somebody that's covered all this stuff forever. Do you miss not being an active reporter in the midst of what is going to be one of the most interesting and perhaps entertaining run-ups to our race in November?
I don't miss it. I'm glad I'm sitting on the sidelines watching it, right, offering opinion and not covering it. You know, I covered Trump back in the 80s in terms of sports. There was a bicycle race, the Tour de Trump, and then the Tyson Sphinx fight, which was a seminal event at the end of the 1980s. And, you know, he's in many ways the same guy that he was back then. I remember asking him about the crowd in Atlantic City for this Tour de Trump event. He said there were like millions of people on the streets. Well, there weren't. There were maybe 10,000 people watching this bike race across the boardwalk. So things really haven't changed.
A guy who likes to overestimate his audience and a lot of other things. All right, Bill Glauber, we're going to take a break here for our partners. After the break, a big week for MPS, including their superintendent who is in, as they'd like to say, hot water. We'll continue our conversation with longtime journalist, now golfer, professional golfer, no, but a guy who loves golfing, Bill Glauber. That's all coming up after this from Majestic Oaks Golf Course in beautiful Delton, Wisconsin. Lake Lawn Resort is where we're at. It is the WTMJ Golf Classic.
Grandpa was long retired from working in the Rapids paper mill when I finished law school.
Dan Krause, Army veteran and owner of Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center.
Grandpa and Grandma asked me to help them get their wills set up. They worried about losing the homestead if they needed nursing care. This was my first experience with estate planning. I just loved it. During the years that I spent in the Army Reserves as a JAG attorney, I was building a small estate planning law firm. After retiring from 21 years in the Army, I've been growing the firm with 3 offices now to help more seniors like my grandparents. At Krause Estate Planning, our entire team loves helping seniors. It's a requirement in our recruiting process. We do help people of all ages, but we hope all of our clients will become seniors one day.
Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center in Brookfield, Madison, and Oregon. A veteran-owned law firm.
Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Evan. I've told you about tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep, constant snoring when you're trying to sleep. I did something about it. I was a customer before I was ever a spokesperson. I had snoring issues, kept my poor wife Kathy up at night. That does not have to be your reality. To put it simply, my nose wasn't working properly. I went to Advent, one of their great facilities, 30-minute visit, walked through all my problems. They answered all my questions. They put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problem, sinuses, nasal passages, my breathing triangle. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing better than ever, sleeping through the whole night. 8 solid hours of sleep last night, uninterrupted, never got up. If you struggle with restless nights like I do, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Mine Shaft in Hartford is hiring servers, bartenders, and pizza cooks. A great summer job for high school and college students. You'll make great cash. Parents and grandparents, tell your kids. Inquire today, start next week. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved. But that's probably a mistake, because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, family fancy headquarters and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than Acunet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to Acunet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at Accunet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money too. That's ACCUNET.com.
Welcome back, Political Power Hour. You went nowhere. You were listening to our great partner ads here on WTMJ. Golf Classic is where we're at. It's the Majestic Oaks Golf Course Lake Lawn Resort, beautiful Delton, Wisconsin. It makes me want to get a club in hand, as Bill Glauber did this morning, playing 9 holes. And where'd you say, Edgewood Golf Course, Bill?
At Ironwood up in
Ironwood. And not to get too bogged down in your golf game, but how'd you hit them?
Badly.
Right. All right, room for improvement, as they say. All right, speaking of room for improvement, MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools, a lot of consternation and hand-wringing, missing financials. We had a referendum recently which passed, which doesn't seem to have alleviated some of the problems there. There was Superintendent Keith Posley under fire. There's an agenda item that's been added. As a observer of MPS and a reporter, longtime reporter, Bill Glauber, where is this story going?
Nowhere good. They're in big trouble. They have to weigh whether to fire Posley or to keep him to get out of this morass and then to let him go gently into the night. I think that's what faces the board. You know, they have to get these finances back in order, and they have to at least come up with a plan to file them in order to get money from the state. And I think what the board probably has to consider is it better to fire him now, or is he the man who should be responsible, and can they quickly get their finances right if at least get these reports in? There's going to be a lot of shouting, I would imagine, at that meeting tonight with public comment.
Bill, I mean, you and I have both watched MPS for a long time. We know what the problems are. We've certainly documented that, both in my sense on the radio and your sense in the newspaper. When you hear stories like this, I don't think anybody out there, I don't care what your political stripes are, I don't care where you live, they want Milwaukee, or should want Milwaukee Public Schools to succeed. They passed a referendum, for Pete's sakes, which a lot of people thought, okay, they're going to get the funds they need. I'm not sure what Keith Posley is doing or is up to, but I can't imagine a scenario where after all of this mess, including some of the diehard supporters of MPS saying, you know what, this is a train wreck, we got to do something. I can't imagine a scenario where he keeps his job.
Well, I can only, like I said, imagine that he keeps his job temporarily in order to right the ship and then get out of it. But, you know, what's happened between, you know, not filing a financial report, not having a downsizing plan in motion, firing, you know, or losing 300 teachers, or 300 jobs, even with the $250 million referendum. I mean, this is just a train wreck right now, and shows no sign of getting better. But it should be full fireworks tonight at that board meeting. And one can only imagine the pressure on the board, the pressure on Posley, and, you know, you can't forget they need the money, and you can't even dispense the money to the other school districts until it's determined what MPS gets. So this is a disaster on a lot of levels.
Is there a potential, Bill, because I don't know the answer to this question, is there potential for the state, maybe the DPI, maybe the Evers administration, to intervene here and say, look, we're going to kind of take over and run this until you can get your books in order, we can get a sense that you know what you're doing?
I wouldn't want to conjecture on that because I do not know.
I mean, that seems to be, at this point, given, you know, how you just mentioned the fact that the other school districts are waiting for this information to be received and processed by the state, it seems to be a time-critical story that I think at some points even diehard supporters of the educational system in the state, Tony Evers, who came from that environment, would have to say, we need to help these kids and need to get this work done. Bill Glauber joining us on WTMJ.
They want at least a plan in place for filing these reports, not even necessarily to file them. So, that's from the state level. They're trying their best to work with MPS to make sure this disaster doesn't continue on. But, you have to wonder if MPS can even put a plan in place to get their finances in order.
Hey, real quick, I know you're not a reporter anymore, Bill, but I know you stay attuned to all the breaking news. If you were covering, obviously MPS is the big story, what else would you be looking at this week?
Oh, I would literally just be hanging around MPS meeting tonight, talking to people after they have their fill. That, to me, is the story of the week. The other story I would continue to be on would be the security zone for the Republican National Convention. Not the security zone, but the protest zone. There was a terrific story by Ricardo Torres about the fact that in that zone, which is by the Milwaukee County Historical Society, there are bricks there, in the walkway that could be dug up and potentially thrown. So that, to me, is one heck of a story to keep an eye on.
And just a little tease for you. On Friday, on my Scaffidi podcast, your former coworker and your friend Dan Bice joins me for an interesting conversation. Your name came up a couple times in the podcast, so that'll be something you want to listen to.
I will definitely listen to it. Dan's a great guy. He's not as mean as he writes.
I didn't think he was mean at all before or after the podcast, so we will all listen together. Bill Glauber, longtime journalist now, trying to be a professional golfer. All right, quick golf question since we're on a golf course. Bill, if you got 150 yards in, elevated green, about, let's say, 20 yards higher than where you're at on the fairway, what club does Bill Glauber choose to hit that small green?
I'm gonna take an 8-iron, and that's short.
Okay. Bill Glauber, always great to talk to you. We'll do it again and down the road.
Take care. Thanks again.
All right. Political Power Hour is what we are doing. Steve Scaffidi is your host. We will wrap it up. I think Jeff Sherman is coming up next here from Majestic Oaks Golf Course. Beautiful Lake Lawn Resort. It is spectacular. It's been redesigned. Looks fantastic. Delavan, Wisconsin. A nice day. A little bit cloudy. The sun's still shining, though, so don't let that get in the way. If you're in the area, all of our shows today. The Upswing's coming up next. We've got Midday with Greg and Jessica. We certainly have the Spanning the State program and After Wisconsin Afternoons. All of those hosts are out here. Some are golfing. Some are just hanging around with all of our great partners here, having some fun in our annual golf classic, WTMJ Golf Classic. Lots more to get to during our broadcast day, and certainly a lot more to get to talking about golf. WTMJ Golf Classic, news time. What do we got? 8:52, does that sound right? 9:52, what am I talking about? There we go, take it back.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and curbless, ready-to-drink cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
What do you call a sectional that embodies class, beauty, and sophistication?
That's easy, Arvid. We name it after me.
You think it should be called the Ben sectional.
Didn't he say class, beauty, and sophistication?
Yeah.
That's obviously me.
Right.
Actually, somewhere along the way, this sofa was nicknamed the Penny Sectional.
Because it represents everything Penny Mustard strives to be.
It truly is the most magnificent sofa I've ever seen.
The Penny Sectional transforms from a majestic piece of art into one of the most comfortable sofas for casual conversation or reclined relaxation.
Is there anything at Penny Mustard that we can name after me?
How about the men's room?
Nah, that's already named after some